Week 2 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire this week. The first pitcher, Ronald Blanco of the Houston Astros. So Ronald Blanco, so far, what a season it's been for him. I know it's 2 starts, but the no-hitter under his belt in the first start of the season. And then last night versus the Texas Rangers, he went out there and pitched another gem, 6 innings, a 1-hit ball with the victory. So Blanco, this is going to be the last chance, obviously, for fantasy owners to go out there and get him on the waiver wire. Like I said, he's only available right now 51% of fantasy leagues. So on the season, in the early going for Blanco through 2 outings, 15 innings, 2-0 record, 11 Ks, no ERA, 0.53 whip, and 2 quality starts on the season. So Blanco, he's gone out there so far, and it seems like every season they find someone in this rotation is this Houston Astros team that could go out there and pitch good baseball. He wasn't really that highly touted of a prospect. Last season we saw him have some action with Blanco, but obviously he didn't show any signs like he has so far in the early going. I know it's early in the year and things could turn the other way quickly, but last year he had 52 innings, 2-1 record, 52 Ks, 4.5 ERA, a 1.48 whip, and 3 quality starts. So far in the early going, he's been the best pitcher in fantasy baseball as Blanco on the year. April 1st versus Toronto, like I said, he had the no-hitter in that ball game, 2 walks, 7 Ks in that one. And then the latest outing last night, April 7th at Texas, 6 innings, got the win. A hit, 4 walks, 4 Ks, and the quality start. So right now he's pitching great baseball, no doubt about it, for this Houston Astros team. I know this Houston Astros team, they're out of the gate. What a slow start right now, where they got swept the first series of the year by the New York Yankees. And then even this series at the Texas Rangers, they lost 2 out of 3. But Blanco's been pitching good baseball, and every season they find someone in the rotation. So right now, while he's out there in 51% of fantasy leagues, and obviously he's going to be added as the day goes on, plus the 50% mark. This is the last chance for owners to go get him this week. The next pitcher I looked at is Logan Allen of the Cleveland Guardians. So Logan Allen's a player I've mentioned over the last season and changes. Someone who's not the highest ceiling of prospects, so doesn't throw the hardest, but a guy who still could go out there and give quality innings and play good baseball. On the season for Allen so far, 11 2/3, 2-0 record, 9 Ks, a 2.31 ERA, 1.11 whip, and 1 quality start so far in the early going for Logan Allen. So Allen, he's gone out there the first 2 outings, and he's looked pretty solid for this Guardian team and for fantasy owners here, where he was on the bubble kind of going into the year of maybe not making the roster, but he obviously carved out a spot in spring training. March 29th at Oakland, 5 innings, got the win, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 Ks in that ball game. And then April 3rd at Seattle, 6 2/3, got the win, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks of quality starts. Allen, he gone out there so far the first 2 outings of the season. Look good for this Cleveland Guardian team, and obviously with Shane Bieber out for the season, he's locked in for a rotation spot. So right now his next matchup's April 9th versus the White Sox tomorrow. And we know this White Sox team, their main hitter Luis Roberts on the 10-day IL. So I think Allen could go out there once again and pitch a good outing. And very surprising to me, out there in 62% of fantasy leagues. Next pitchers, Sean Manaea, the New York Mets. Are surprisingly, Sean Manaea, so far his first 2 outings of the year, he's looked very well for the New York Mets, and he hasn't given up an earned run in the time. So Manaea, the last couple seasons, it's been a struggle for him, obviously with the San Diego Padres, and then last season with the San Francisco Giants. But so far this year, he's gone out there and he's pitched good baseball. Is Sean Manaea, 11 innings on the year, 1-0 record, 14 strikeouts, 1.03 ERA, and 0.50 whip with a quality start on the season. So right now, Manaea available in tons of fantasy leagues as well for this New York Met team and for fantasy owners, where he's out there in 69% of leagues. So Manaea could be early season fluke a little bit for Manaea, but he's going out there and he's pitched well the first 2 outings. I know it was good, not a great matchup at the Cincinnati Reds, when we know they got a good hitting team, but he pitched well versus them. And then the first start of the year versus the light hitting Tigers, so the first 2 outings for Manaea. April 1st versus Detroit, 6 innings, no decision, a hit, 2 walks, 8 Ks, a quality start. And then April 7th at Cincinnati, 5 innings, got the win, 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. So far in the first 2 outings, the strikeout rate has gone up for Sean Manaea. He's been working on different pitches and stuff in the offseason. And also remember, he's only a few years removed from Tommy John surgery, so maybe he's trying to find it and finally has once again is Manaea, going back to his Oakland Athletic days where he had some decent season. So right now, well, he's pitching good for the New York Mets. And I know this Met team, they haven't looked good at all so far in the early season. They're not hitting the baseball well. The bullpen isn't really that good. But Manaea's gone out there so far and only given up 1 run in the first 2 outings of the year. So right now, well, he's out there in tons of fantasy leagues. He's definitely an ad this week. The next ad is Cody Bradford of the Texas Rangers. So Bradford, he was just a fill-in, it looked like, early in the season until Mike Lorenzen comes off the injury list. But so far, 2 outings, and he's been lights out for the most part. Is Bradford, 12 2/3, 2-0 record, 10 Ks, a 2.13 ERA, an 0.47 WHIP, and a quality starts. He's one of their top prospects in the system, is Cody Bradford, and it's good to see him go out there and pitch well. And now we might push this Ranger team to bring Lorenzen back in a relief role. So the first 2 outings, he's gone out there, and like I said, he's put up good stats. March 30th versus Chicago, 5 innings, got the win. 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 Ks. April 5th versus Houston, 7 2/3, got a win. 2 hits, a run, 4 Ks, a quality starts. Obviously with some pitching injuries this week with Shane Bieber out for the season with Tommy John. Looks like Spencer Strider, he possibly could be out for the year as well here. These pitchers, they're going to come up big and be key assets, I believe, for fantasy owners, where it's going to be tough this year to find a lot of solid pitching, because I don't think it's the last of seeing pitchers getting Tommy John or injured for an extended period of time. So right now with a couple injuries and some decent options, honestly, on the wire this week, and possibly could be one of the strongest wires we see this season at the pitching spot. Bradford's a good ad, and like I said, I think he's pushed Lorenzen possibly to the bullpen when he returns. And Bradford, he's available widely in tons of leagues at 86%. The next ad, Zach Little of the Tampa Bay Rays. So Little, I spoke about last week, is an ad. And Little, he's got a good spot in this Ray rotation with Taj Bradley hurt. McClellan, we know he's not going to come back anytime soon as well, coming off of Tommy John. And so far, Little's gone out there and he's pitched 2 gems on the year, 11 innings, 1-0 record, 11 Ks, and 0.82 ERA, a 1 WHIP, and a quality start. So right now available in tons of fantasy leagues, surprisingly, at 71% of fantasy leagues. He is Zach Little, and he's a guy with good versatility as well, starter and reliever. He qualifies to the first 2 outings of the year for Little. March 30th versus Toronto, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start, no runs. And then April 5th to Colorado, a little bit down compared to his first outing, but still in a tough pitcher's park, obviously in Coors Field with the altitude. 5 innings, 5 hits, a run, 5 Ks in that one. So right now, since Little's out there still in tons of fantasy leagues, and like I said, he's going nowhere in this rotation, he's sticking with this Tampa Bay Ray team. Available right now in tons of fantasy leagues still. And his next outing's a pretty decent one at the Angels, April 10th, in the next couple of days. So Little definitely an ad this week. Next pitcher is Garett Whitlock of the Boston Red Sox. So Whitlock, a former top prospect in the system for the Boston Red Sox. And so far, he's looked great as well in the first 2 outings. I know he hasn't gone that deep into the ball games, but still, what pitcher really goes that deep anymore besides the top 10, 15 guys in the league? On the year for Whitlock, 9 1/3, 1-0 record, 12 Ks, and 0.96 ERA, a 1.18 WHIP on the season. So right now available in 52% of fantasy leagues, and pretty much this is the last chance, I think, for fantasy owners to go out and get Whitlock this season. So the first 2 outings for Whitlock, like I said, he hasn't gone deep into games, but he's pitching good baseball. March 31st at Seattle, 5 innings, got the win, 3 hits, a run, 8 Ks. And then April 6th, they did work the pitch count on him, and he walked 4 batters at the Angels, but still 4 1/3 in that one, no decision, no runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, 4 Ks. So Whitlock, he's got good K per 9 ratio, I believe, for fantasy owners. I know this Red Sox team, middle of the pack to a bad team, where they could either be 500 or a little bit over, or even down in the standings, 4th or 5th place in the AL East. But right now, Whitlock so far, like I said, he hasn't given length for fantasy owners, but he's gone out there and pitched decent 2 ball games. And also as well, he's a former top prospect in the system as well with his upside. And so far off to a decent start. I would give him an ad this week. The next ad, Reese Olson of the Detroit Tigers. So this Tiger team so far, it's been a mixed bag of results in the early going. But Reese Olson last year, I thought he showed some decent outings and played decent ball. 5-7 last year, 103 2/3 with a 4 ERA, 1.12 WHIP, and 6 quality starts. So far this year, only 1 outing versus the New York Mets for him. We went 5 2/3 in that one, 3 strikeouts, no runs in that ball game. So right now, Reese Olson, his next outing is actually here today at the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know this Pirate team so far off to a pretty good start in the early going. But it's only April, and things could turn around quickly, obviously, in the league. So right now, well, he's available in 80% of fantasy leagues here, resource, and I think he's a good ad. And like I said, he went out there and pitched 3-hit ball in 5 2/3 versus the New York Mets with no runs. So right now, like I said, he's got good upside. He's got a good matchup, and this Tiger team definitely improved from last season to this year. So I would give him an ad this week. The next ad, Paul Blackburn of the Oakland Athletics. Of Blackburn, the last couple seasons, he's been on and off the radar for fantasy owners. I know he's on one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league, with the Oakland Athletics. But so far, Blackburn off to a nice start in the early going. 13 innings, 1-0 record, 7 Ks, no ERA, 0.54 whip, and 2 quality starts. So you can't ask nothing more than that, obviously, from Blackburn. And he's widely available in 92% of fantasy leagues. Obviously, it could be early season start for him where he's off to a good start, and then he gets back to form. Obviously, is Paul Blackburn. But like I said, we've seen in the past him pitch some decent seasons. March 31st versus Cleveland, 7 innings in that one, no decision, 3 hits, a walk, 3 Ks, a quality start. And April 6th at the Tigers, 6 innings, got the win, 3 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, a quality start. So he's a pitch to contact type of pitcher is Paul Blackburn. I know he's on one of the worst teams in the league where run support really isn't going to be there for much. But like I said, the Athletics have actually won the 2 games he started this season. Here is Blackburn, one with the no decision and one with the win. So right now, since he's off to an early season good start, even though I'm not 100% trusting him, like I said, in deeper leagues out there, 92% of leagues, I would give Blackburn a shot for a couple starts. And obviously, if he can't go out there and perform, then you drop him back off to the waiver wire. The next ad to Andrew Abbott of the Cincinnati Reds. So, so far, it hasn't been all that great for Andrew Abbott in the early going. I know this season he's only got 10 1/3 on the year, 0-1 record, 8 strikeouts, a 3.50 ERA, and a 1 whip on the season with no quality start so far. But Andrew Abbott, he has high K upside, no doubt about it. We've seen it from him last season when he was in his rookie year, is Andrew Abbott. And so far, like I said, it's just off to a couple bad outings to start the year where he had a high pitch count, and they're taking it a little bit easy as well, I believe, with him in the early going is this Red team. So right now, Abbott available in 51% of fantasy leagues. And like I said, with a lot of pitcher injuries so far in the early going, and he has good upside, I would give him an ad this week, April 1st at Philly, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. And April 7th versus the Mets, 5 innings, got the loss in that one. 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. So right now, like I said, off to a slow start. But the upside is definitely there for Andrew Abbott. We saw it last season, like I said, 8-6 record on the year he went. And he had 120 strikeouts, is Abbott, in 109 innings. So the strikeouts are going to go up for him. He's a lefty pitcher. I know he pitches in a bandbox. But like I said, the upside I like for Abbott. And if he does get dropped in your fantasy leagues, I definitely would go to the wire and get him. And the final pitcher I looked at off the wire this week here is Bryce Elder of the Atlanta Braves. So like I said early in the video, Spencer Strider, it's not looking good for him right now, and there's a possibility he might need Tommy John surgery. Waiting more MRI results from him. So Bryce Elder last season, it was a great year for him, and he didn't crack the rotation out of spring training. But obviously it's going to be AJ Smith-Schuster or Bryce Elder coming into the rotation if Strider's going to be out for a while or for the season. So Elder last year, 174 2/3, 12-4 record, 128 Ks at 3.81 ERA, 1.28 whip and 16 quality starts. I know he's a pitch to contact type of pitcher is Elder. He's not going to get a lot of strikeouts, but he did go deeper into ball games last season. And for the most part, it seemed like he had a rubber arm early in the year. He was lights out for the Braves and fantasy owners last year. And then towards the middle and after the All-Star break, teams were starting to catch on and hit. But obviously this Brave team, one of the best teams in the league. This offense is loaded. And if Bryce Elder even could go out there 5-6 innings per game, 2 or 3 runs, that's still a decent ad, I think, for fantasy owners and getting a lot of run support. And right now, like I said, most likely him over Smith-Schuster, I believe, will come up. And he's available in 94% of fantasy leagues. That's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire for week 2 of the fantasy baseball season.